Welcome to the Phantom Zone.
Tell you guys how poorly Disney Channel movies have aged.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Fuck me! I can't do these movies anymore.
Which one did you watch?
We're watching Luck of the Irish this week for
Oh god!
And like I of course have seen this movie like 20 times when it was on TV, and I don't know, in fucking maybe intermediate school or high school.
Right.
Going back to it, I'm like, this is unbearable. Everyone sucks, and like I feel like there's a giant laugh being had at the expense of the Irish. People's accents are all over the place. The main character's an unlikable prick, and everyone talks like they're robots or aliens.
There's a lot of those that don't hold up from like the 90s and early 2000s. Some do,
yeah,
but a good chunk don't.
The whole plot of this movie is this kid's like, oh, I don't know what my heritage is. Hey, Mom, where am I from? They go, from here. Right. No further
it's literally the plot of the 13th. It's the plot of the 13th year, but it's with leprechauns.
I was gonna say he says like, oh, Mom, what's my heritage? And she bottles him with a bottle of fast.
Wait.
Where do you fucking think you're from?
Is the whole thing that he's part leprechaun?
Yes.
That's incredibly stupid.
Yeah, and his parents are super dodgy about it, and they act like they're trying to hide a body every time he fires. But then people are like, dude, why don't you care about your heritage? The Heritage Day is coming up soon, and you don't care about your heritage. You need to start caring. This is important. I'm like, you know who doesn't talk about this shit in real life? Kids.
I mean, I was kind of waiting for the moment when Warwick Davis would show up and this would turn into a crossover with the Leprechaun.
I would kind of hope there would be a scene where there's like Lucky Charms on a table somewhere, and he's like looking at it like it's like a heroin addict.
Oh, why would you eat those? They've been in my stomach.
Gotta have my charms, man.
Yeah.
That's the last thing your father ever did that was good.
This is like from that weird period of time where Disney's like, we don't know what to do because we have all this money, so let's just pump out children's stars who then later either rebel or drop off the face of the planet.
Yeah, this is remake Teen Wolf over and over again. Not the show that I love, the film.
Are they even remotely related?
No,
okay.
Not really.
It's just in name only. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. If they had somehow found a way to connect those two things lore-wise, it would have been fascinating to see them try.
Michael J. Fox somehow shows up, and
he's like the final boss.
Mm-hmm. It would have been fascinating. If they somehow
Michael J. Fox and his Parkinson's.
Well, I was going to say, when did the Teen Wolf TV show come? Sorry, when did the Teen Wolf TV show come out?
2012. That's when it started.
Then I was going to say they could have just had the guy go buy some paint, and it's just Michael J. Fox there shaking it for everybody.
Well, I think I saw that coming, but just didn't do anything about it.
It would be really weird because the main character's name is Scott, and then he has a friend named Styles, as Michael J. Fox did in the show. So it's like.
Does he call people Dick Nose?
I think that happens.
Is he really good at basketball?
No, he plays lacrosse. Yeah.
He should play
that. A movie for gays? What the?
All I know is, thanks to that show, we would have
never gotten
better Aquaman as Superman.
Get out of here, Alex Jones.
That is true. That is very true.
Anyway, let's real quick before we get.
Did somebody summon me
for God's sake.
from the smart dust infested waters?
Let's tell everybody.
Get the frogs out!
Oh my God, I've lost control already. Introductions, because now John is back with us for the second time, so I'm sure the people who confuse our voices are going to confuse his. Hi, this is Connor McGraw. This is going to be After Dark, as we've already established. It's headlong into stupidity. Who else is here in this fucking canoe of insanity?
Arlen Haro, here to supply you with all your Alex Jones impressions about smart dust and evil interdimensional Native Americans.
I'm the most professional out of all of us, Hunter Davenport.
I'm Erik Fedorchak, relegated to the 4th spot again, and also I'm here to talk to you about the fact that Captain Marvel is terrible because women can't exist in outer space.
It's a hoax, like the moon in World War II. All right.
Exactly.
None of it's real.
And John, introduce yourself.
I'm Jon Scott. I was brought back again. I was on the Phantom Zone movie special for Supergirl, and I guess I was either liked or hated well enough they brought me back a second time, and I'm sorry in advance.
You'll never know.
You suffered with us, so now you're one of us.
Yeah.
One of us.
A lot of people.
You're us now, John.
A lot of people's first episodes tend to be movie specials, but I think yours was unquestionably the worst of the guests.
Yeah,
I had to sit through a shitty Supergirl movie. Fucking thanks.
Yeah,
Hey, you're
I mean,
welcome.
other people got to review Black Panther or other things, but
Connor, was this because I suggested Dragon Ball Evolution on?
You know, it might be. Speaking of that, like now, John, now you know how it feels to do this on a weekly basis. To sit there and just like let these movies just like gloss over you and just like hit you in the eyeballs at some point. Like you just stop. Like we watched Bleeders recently, and that's like a 1996 Lovecraft adaptation of like The Lurking Fear.
I mean, here's the thing: you sat and watched Dragon Ball Evolution in the comfort of your house. I sat in a movie theater and watched it.
The first time I'd ever seen it all the way through, too. And God, I hate that movie. After stewing on it, I realized that movie has like 40 minutes pass by with no action sequence.
Exactly.
Nothing fucking happens.
That sounds like Supergirl, except that was 2 hours.
Yeah. And then I think someone at some point was like, shit, we haven't had any fight sequences. Have Goku and his friends fight some pointy guys or something.
Well, remember,
Are these Cybermen? We're not sure.
I thought they were Cybermen. Apparently they're not. You can't see them anywhere. They're lit so fucking poorly.
Okay. I don't remember most of that movie, I'm going to be honest. But the parts I do remember leave me fucking befuddled.
I laughed my balls off when he did the Kamehameha at the end because he like says it all weird and then it lifts him off the ground, but it's like the shittiest wire work of all time. It just looks like he's attached to a zip line that's just lifting him off the ground. I'm like, how is he firing a projectile forward and also going forward?
But because if they had the chance,
also
anime.
He hasn't been able to fly this whole film, and now he's just like, by the way, I can do this now, which is very much in line with how the show works when people have new powers.
I mean, again, Key is the answer to all of it.
Yeah, it's fucking airbending. How they didn't get sued.
I'm just going to say, though, if they had the chance, Krone would have been the horny best friend.
Everyone in that movie is really horny. I don't know why.
The kid who plays Goku looks like he's constipated at all times.
I also remember that kid was in War of the Worlds the other day because I watched a video about Independence Day.
Is he the fucking idiot who keeps running towards the thing?
Yes,
he is the son whose character arc is like, we gotta go fight the aliens or something. Yeah,
I hate him so much in that movie.
And then his resolution is like, I fought the aliens and I didn't die. Here I am. Nobody learned anything.
Man, I got a sister, Dad. You don't own me.
And then Dakota Fanning is just like fucking comatose the entire third act, she's just staring at stuff.
And Tim Robbins shows up for reasons.
He's like, "Hi, this is my film now."
And then Tom Cruise, I think, kills him? Question mark.
He does.
Yeah, because Tim Robbins is
gonna movie, by the way,
do something. I don't remember.
No, he inadvertently kills him. I thought because
kills him because he's gonna alert the aliens to their presence, and he's got his daughter with him. So he basically traps him in a room and like just beats him to death. Also, I didn't realize the other day until someone pointed out to me, the aliens in that, when they finally show them in that little basement area, look strikingly similar to the ones from Independence Day. Like the big fucking heads, weird clawy thingamajigs.
I haven't seen either movie in years.
I barely remember it, but they're also drawing from the original World of Worlds.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, so
I like how someone can remake War of the Worlds in the last 20 years, and its cultural impact is just like a light fart.
I mean,
Yeah.
have you ever
And-
seen the
and it was
steampunk
Steven-
version?
It was Steven Spielberg who remade it too.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing.
I mean, honestly, I think it might be because Independence Day was bigger and it came out pretty close, and I think it did the same thing for a lot of people.
I
So,
mean, I think
yeah.
there was probably a 5-year difference between when they came out. Because, I mean, Independence Day was coming out, or at least it was starting to really ramp up its advertisement when I was
Yeah.
in college.
I mean, there's
8, I believe.
there is a time difference, but like I feel like movies, they kind of occupy a space in your mind for such and such period of time, and I feel like Independence Day occupied that space for a very long time.
Honestly,
Kind of still does, honestly. I love that movie.
And yet they gave Roland Emmerich, they're like, hey, you did well on this Independence Day. Here's the Godzilla keys.
no, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and now you have earned the ire of Hunter.
No, I mean, yeah. Me and Hunter, we've discussed this movie so much. It's just like, it's at this point, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if
Roland
the theory is
Emmerich-
okay. I don't know if I
Yeah.
ever sat through that entire film.
I mean, the animated series is good.
Here's the thing.
He looks like
Roland
Yoshi
Emmerich
in the
shouldn't.
Mario movie.
Yeah, Roland Emmerich shouldn't have signed up for a movie about a thing or a character that he didn't like. That's a bad idea. That's
Yeah,
something.
that's how you get a fifth
shouldn't do.
Transformers movie that feels like a fucking joke.
Well, even then, like Michael Bay, like his feelings towards Transformers, is like that exists. I don't care one way or the other.
I'll just
Roland
point a camera at it and take a
Noah?
fucking Benadryl.
Like Roland Emmerich is on record as like, I fucking hated Godzilla before doing this movie, but I was getting paid and I needed something to do in between that and
Plus,
whatever.
I wanted an excuse to take apart Siskel and Ebert because they don't like my movies.
Right? Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stuff in the movie that's dumb. But,
Why
I mean,
would they agree to that?
I don't know. Well, he didn't have to get their permission. He could just
Yeah,
name
it was a parody, so
Yeah.
to do what he wants, really. Also, it's like, I don't think that was an effective dunk in the slightest, because I'm pretty sure Roger was like, your movie still blows.
right, and one of them died, so that
Exactly. Yeah.
that didn't help. But also, like, he didn't make them film critics. He made them a mayor and his second in command, or what the fuck ever. I don't know, his media spokesperson.
It's like a step above how Uwe Boll trash talks.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most immature, juvenile, like, fuck you, I'm a great artist, everything I do is genius.
I will fight you, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. If you want
That
to hear
was-
me and
that
Hunter
was
like
fucking-
defend that movie, listen to
that-
our Godzilla episode.
That shitty fucking thing he did with the boxing. He's like, I will fight my critics, and then everyone shows up. He's like, by the way, I'm a former championship boxer. I didn't tell you this.
I mean, good things came out of that, though. The Fantastic Facts boxing match, which happens every year, and people fucking throw down over weird, like, arguments that they've had over tweets and stuff, and they fucking, like, settle it. So, yeah.
Ooh, Connor, actually, I meant to ask you, did you hear about what Uwe Boll said about Harley Quinn?
No.
No, but did it come from that Twitter account?
Yeah, it was like, it's like, Harley Quinn is not the real Batman character.
That Twitter account, I believe, is a parody account.
Oh, is it? I thought it was.
don't know. I have heard that's not real, and I've heard that Uwe Boll doesn't have a Twitter. That account posts some things where you go, "Oh, I don't know if you're fucking with me or not."
I really love the idea of Uwe Boll just being like befuddled at the idea of like Harley Quinn or something. He's like, she wasn't in the comics.
That whole thing with Rampage did happen, though, because there's a video of that, of him just fucking going off in these ridiculous tangents about, like, fuck you, Warner Brothers, you stole my movie title, I will sue you, I will sue The Rock.
He called, Harvard.
That's one of his favorite insults. He calls everyone fucking retards.
I mean,
I hated him for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there are many reasons to hate Uwe Boll and the German government for giving him money.
He like, what do you make, like fucking like tax shelters or something, like some shit like that? A bunch of loopholes. Every movie was profitable before it even saw release because he's like, yes, I have rigged the system.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was something along the lines of like he would get the money for it, and if it didn't make the money back, it was insured, so it would make the money regardless.
Yep.
So basically, he was just like, "I'll do whatever I want. Fuck all of you retards."
Also, he makes his movies so cheaply that I'm sure there's like plenty of money to go around.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
So
I
he
mean,
can buy a bunch of horse tranquilizers or whatever weird,
I'm still
whatever weird
befuddled
drug he
Jason
uses.
Statham said yes to a Uwe Boll movie.
I don't think. I think the world at large wasn't onto him yet.
Yeah.
Because like there's that weird peak where he's got like theatrical releases and then it just fucking falls off hard. Like he had House of the Dead, Alone in the Dark, Blood Rain, and In the Name of the King, I think all had theatrical releases, and everything after that straight to fucking video.
Also, it is possible that he
yeah.
had no idea. Like,
And Statham, I can't remember the exact timeline, but Crank might not have come out when they shot that movie.
I don't think it had. I think
the biggest thing he'd done up to that point is like Heat and
Transporter.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, other than Transporter, like I'm not gonna like
Lock,
big name
Stock, and Two
directors.
Smoking Barrels.
He's in Collateral, not Heat. But yeah, like
He's in Collateral?
Yeah, he's in Collateral.
Supposed to be his Transporter character.
Yeah, he gives Tom Cruise his gun for that movie.
I just watched that recently, and I totally missed that. Huh.
Yeah, he's like, have a good time in L.A. I will. So yeah, the indication is that he was an assassin there before he.
I have heard that Uwe Boll has since retired from the film industry, and I hear his restaurant that he has in Canada is the best thing he's ever done.
I'm sure.
My restaurant, I'll fucking kill you.
I mean, if it's German food and it's like good German food, I'm sure it's great. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't it be? This is a weird tangent on a tangent.
It's just bratwurst.
Oh my god!
I want Uwe Boll's House of German Pretzels.
I'm looking at Uwe Boll's IMDb page, and like, there's a quote here. It's like about his disaster experience with Alone in the Dark that a script matters.
There's a story from Tales from the Script that someone has about Uwe, where she was the initial writer for Blood Rain. She came to him with a rough draft, and this was after he called her and left a voicemail on her fucking machine that sounded like this: "Where's my fucking script? I need it now!" Blah, blah, blah. And I guess she told her agent, "That man's never to call me again." And then she shows up on set. They got the rough draft, and he goes, "Good, we film tomorrow." And she's like, "What? This is nothing. This is an idea. It's not even fleshed out or fixed." He's like, "It's fine. We go ahead." And then like, I guess during filming, he let the actors take a crack at it. And she said, I think about 20% of what she wrote is on screen.
Awesome.
Yeah. Also, Name of the King was
written by Clint Howard and Michael Madsen.
Okay, there's something going on with Clint Howard and Uwe Boll because he pops up in all of his fucking movies. And I'm like, you're fucking Ron Howard's brother. You don't need this douchebag. Like,
but yeah, he kind of does, because what has Clint Howard done what has he done of any type of renown that he wasn't attached to his brother?
Just saying, you don't.
The Ice Cream Man?
Yeah, but of all the fucking people to latch onto, you pick Uwe Boll? Raise your bar.
A paycheck is a paycheck.
He might just be there for the hang, for people, so he could have.
I'm here so I can finally meet Dominic Purcell.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can meet
Michael Madsen.
Richard Grieco.
Yeah. Hello, Dolph Lundgren.
So I can meet Hans Stiegler from Inglourious Basterds.
That poor motherfucker. That guy had some crazy presence in Inglourious Basterds, and he decided to do Far Cry at some point, either before or after that. And I guess people were like,
never seen
"Yeah,
Far Cry movies. Is it bad?"
That was the other one that had theatrical release. Was Far Cry.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe someone made a Far Cry movie.
Wait, I don't believe that had theatrical release at all. I don't.
Yeah,
it's really bad.
This is fake news.
It's so bad.
I don't want to sit through it. And honestly, if you're going to make a Far Cry movie, if you're going to make a movie out of any of the Far Cry games, it should be 3.
They actually are making it. I think Ubisoft has their motion picture studio. I'm just reading now that they're supposed to make one.
Oh, that survived past Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, if it's up to the same quality as Assassin's Creed, you got a winner.
Here's the thing. I've seen maybe half Assassin's Creed, and it's It's not
Right.
an awful movie. I don't
I've
think.
heard it's very.
I mean, they're still
boring.
making a Division movie.
It's
I've
boring.
heard it's a film. That's
boring.
Exactly. Yeah, I've
It's
heard
boring.
it's
It's
a
just
movie
not-
that was made.
yeah.
Well,
And on the Far Cry thing, if they made a Blood Dragon movie, I'd be fucking all in. So
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's the
Yes.
other one that deserves.
I know that they're making a Division movie with Jake Gyllenhaal and Jessica Chastain, and the guy who made Deadpool 2 is directing it.
Okay.
All right.
So-
yeah,
So
you
at-
got me on that one. Yeah.
At what point is XX Dick Fart XX going to show up next to Jake Gyllenhaal's character?
Oh yeah, when they're in the fucking the dark zone and someone's like, "Hi, you just spawned, and I've killed you and taken all your things. Do you like it?"
Yeah.
Too?
Yeah.
For like some sort of division.
God damn you.
Otherwise, Will Smith just walk in from off camera, start putting a gun together, and he's like, "Yeah, we're like some sort of division," and then just like walks away and never seen again.
You're both fired.
No,
I'm
he
the
just
host
he
now.
he T-poses out of the frame.
And then the room gets too crowded, and then the movie just ends.
It's like Mass Effect Andromeda. He walks into a room and then just slowly levitates into the ceiling.
Yeah, if it's pre-patch that game, then it's just going to be like 20 minutes of people all trying to talk to the same quest giver.
Standing in line.
Exactly.
I couldn't believe that shit. I'm like, it's day one, and people have already found a way to be this fucking annoying.
Apparently, Division 2 is very good, which is like, all right, cool. That
Dean-
first game is a disaster.
I wouldn't say it's faster, especially post-patch, because you go in and play, you're like, this is very, very good. But that's also a problem that I'm going to get to in a second. But Dean, my roommate, played the beta for Division 2, and he was having fun with it until all the audio seemingly dropped out. It didn't come back,
no.
and it kind of stayed quiet for about a minute or two, and he gets through several gunfights through this thing. So he leaves a building, and then all the residual sound that hadn't been heard yet played at once.
No.
He said it sounded like I was firing from an infinite clip gun.
It's the audio version of Andromeda.
Yeah.
they gotta fix that.
Yeah, and that's my I think we're in the most like egregious era of big publishers just releasing shit that is completely broken. And then
I agree.
like, we'll charge you full price and we'll fix it later. Please deal with this. We don't care.
Yeah, or
See, that's why like most games, like I had someone else ask me like, "Oh, do you play Destiny?" I'm like, I don't play it because I don't trust like any games along that line with like stuff like Battlefront 2 or Anthem. or
They
stuff
are criminally boring after a while too, because you're like, I'm gonna go shoot some more
no,
things that
give
will
me stuff like
Destiny?
Spider-Man. Give me stuff like God of War. Give me stuff like whatever Naughty Dog's doing.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
But single player can't pull people back in to keep making money for them. Like
yeah,
with
it's the whole
with yeah,
it's a-
MMORPGs, they can just
If
continue
they
to
keep,
charge you.
doing this shit where they just rush them, it's
Yeah.
going to crash and burn super hard, and they're not going to be able
Oh,
to.
Well, I
agree.
was watching Jim Sterling recently, and he made a point to say like if they keep this up long enough, they will choke the industry because I think it was like he said in 1 week there were like 6 to 7 major releases, like 3 or 4 of them were of the exact same type, and they all launched at $60. He's like, you can't do this. This is going to crash the industry. You're choking yourselves. Nobody can get a foot in edgewise because you're all cramming the market.
Yeah,
Well, what we need is more quality releases like Crackdown 3.
yeah. Crackdown series.
Oh my
They're the game of
god!
this generation.
Or we
I'm
need
s-
more great things like Red Dead 2, but like
Yeah,
Rockstar is the anomaly who's like, yeah, we'll take 8 years to make a fucking amazing game, and you'll sit there and like it.
I always love when people are mad, like they're like, "Oh, they're delaying the game, delaying the game." It's like this game's probably been in development before you even knew about it.
Mhm.
And
Like once Death Stranding gets its release date, people are gonna lose it.
yeah,
Whenever that might be.
it's okay. I think I figured it out.
I still don't know what that game is.
Me neither. But I want it.
I just every time I
It's
watch
just,
footage, I'm
again,
like,
it's just Hideo Kojima just coming out of your TV screen, just laughing at you.
I'm fucking so
Yeah.
distracted by Del Toro and then fucking Reedus, and then I'm like, Mads Mikkelsen's here. What?
Mhm.
Here's the thing. I have theories, but I won't go into it here because we'll be here all night.
I've heard some stuff, but yeah, I don't want to because that's
You've
I
got to deliver the baby. Bring the baby with your robot arm. Bring the baby to the
and then a ninja cartwheels in and it cuts off a baby's arm, and then the baby turns into a mech, and then it steps on the ninja, and then an old man stitches the baby's arm to his arm, and he becomes the baby.
Surprise! It's a Metal Gear Rising sequel.
Do you like Spanish horror movies? We have that director in here.
And then Neil Marshall comes up from behind him, takes his head off, and takes his place in the game.
And Nicholson disembowels somebody with a chain.
This whole thing was directed by Jordan Vogt Roberts.
Dun, 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 dun.
I know I keep hearing every year someone's like, the Metal Gear movie's still happening. I'm like, sure it is.
I believe that the Metal Gear movie is happening more than I believe that Spawn's going to come out.
Apparently, Oscar Isaac threw his hat in the ring to play Snake, and the director is supposed to make it. He's like, yeah, I'm cool with it.
No, that picture that Boss Logic drew, Jordan Vogt Roberts told him to make that.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Oh.
Wait, what did he make? Is this the first time I've actually given a shit
So-
about it?
On Skull Island.
Yeah, he so Boss Logic made this thing where Oscar Isaac was as Solid Snake.
Whoa.
And wasn't it Josh Brolin as the boss?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And then it turns out Jordan Vogt Roberts is on Twitter and he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I commissioned that, and also I want Oscar Isaac to play Solid Snake, please."
Yeah. The question
Pretty
is,
much.
did Dingus get a hold of it? Did he?
I think Oscar Isaac responded. I did not see what he said though.
Yeah, there was like a roundtable discussion on IGN with what's that new movie coming out
Triple
that has Ben
Frontier?
Affleck? Yes, thank you, Triple Frontier. And I think it was Max Scoville who was actually asking him about video games, and Oscar Isaac brought up Metal Gear Solid right away. He's like, "Yeah, I want to throw my hat in that." So that's how that entire chat got started.
That's awesome. I still don't think a Metal Gear movie can work without making some serious concessions. Because
No, but also I kind of want to see what it is, even if it's bad, because there's something there.
well,
that I
'cause
want
it's going to be ambitiously terrible, which is always the best kind. 'Cause
Yeah, yeah.
you're trying so much here, and none of it's landing because Metal Gear is, when you start boiling it down to its simplest parts, a bunch of fucking poppycock.
Yeah.
I can't decipher the lore of that game from start to finish. 'Cause I'm like, I don't know, something about the fucking Leela and the Patriots.
That's another series I haven't played.
Blah blah blah.
That's another series I haven't played, and I'm looking at the lore, and I'm like, oh Jesus.
It is fucking intimidating. And
Warhammer.
Oh my god.
Or
No,
Warcraft.
This has been a really interesting episode of Video Game Hour that we've been doing here.
Arlen, you actually play video games now, so for the first time,
Yeah. Guess what, bitch?
Not much though.
things to say. Still,
You're one of us now.
Hellblade and Red Dead Redemption 2 is a hell of a way to get back into it.
That's true. That's
Somehow I'm
Oh.
going to get you to play something really Japanese, and I don't know how I'm going to do it.
You're not gonna get me to do that.
Yeah, no, it's happening.
Something
I'm
like
gonna see eyes that are bigger than my palms, and I'm gonna be like, nope.
no, it's
No.
not that Japanese. Like something like Dynasty Warriors, where it's like, this is weird.
Here's the thing. I'll trick you. Don't worry.
See, I actually want the scenario where Arlen's like, "What's this? What's this Hatoful boyfriend game?" And he ends up playing the game where you're
God damn
dating
you.
pigeons so
What
much.
is this? Katawa Shoujo?
No, it would be fucking Doki Doki Literature Club that he.
I was just gonna say, Arlen, you would love Doki Doki Literature
Dude.
Club. It is a fun game meant for the whole family.
No,
Apparently,
lies.
it disguised itself as a Japanese dating sim, and then just rips the curtain back and goes, "Welcome to surrealist horror."
Yeah. It
Yeah.
is the most insane thing I've ever seen.
Oh god, I just looked at that. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? Looking at it.
The Crumbs playthrough of that is amazing because they think it's just like a normal dating sim, and then at one point everything changes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the guy in Markiplier played through it too, and good golly.
I watched them play a game recently called Cursed Mountain, and it came out for the Wii.
Oh, that game sucks.
That game looks like it's you just walk. That's all you
walk and then you swing a
you
pickaxe.
walk
It's
and
not
you
fun.
point your character's face at things, and he kind of doesn't react to them. And then it's I think 2 videos of them just nothing happening. Then out of nowhere, there's a huge fucking jump scare, and Danny screams like a fucking cat. He's like, "Whoa!" And then he's like, now that I am prepared for it, because before I didn't know that could happen. He's like, I think I'm okay. Arlen, how far are you in Hellblade?
I haven't picked it up again just because time and life and things like that.
Yeah, same. And every time I do, I start over. I know how it ends, so I'm not really I'm not missing anything, I guess, per se, but I still want to play it all the way through. I've only seen it because before it came out on Xbox, I was like, oh, it's PS4 exclusive. I'll never see this. And then lo and behold, got a PS4, and then it comes out on Xbox. I'm like, what the
But now you have a PS4.
I know, and Bloodborne happened, and I have never been happier about that.
But like also Spider-Man and God of War though.
Oh, I haven't played God of War yet.
Spider-Man. I might replay Spider-Man just because.
You have the DLC, Arlen?
Good.
I haven't had DLC yet.
John, go ahead, John.
No, I was gonna say the DLC for Spider-Man. It's fun to have more missions to do, but the story is not the heights.
Okay. Well, the first like the stuff with the Black Cat is awesome. Like
no, actually you're right. Fair.
Yeah, because
really
that DLC comes with a fucking megaton gut punch as far as what's going on between Felicia, Peter, and Mary Jane that I will not spoil.
No.
Like I am really admiring how much this team is willing to kind of skirt away from the source material a little bit and kind of create their own fucking universe.
Yeah,
I really like this. I think it has a designation too in terms of an Earth.
Because he shows up in Edge of Spider-Verse or whatever it's called.
He does.
Yeah, his costume does at least.
In my head canon, this is like one universe off from Miles's universe, kind of in Spider-Verse.
1048.
1048.
Also, Spider Cop is canon. I don't think we've talked about it on the show, but
That's true.
Spider Cop is canon now.
Yes, he is. That's a fact.
That's the thing, though. I thought Marvel stopped using the different Earth designates ever since Secret War happened.
No.
Eric, you fool! You thought the events.
Why would we make it simple?
Why would a comic book company stick to their guns and not change their minds 5 years after making the decision?
Harvey West isn't totally coming back from the dead at some point.
It's okay.
That would never happen.
Disney's gonna close them. It's okay.
They'll never bring back Barry after he dissolves into the Speed Force. And why would they ever do that?
The thing with Barry is that he did stay dead for like 23 years.
Yeah.
Also,
true, but you get the point.
Yeah.
I just saw Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame is spoiled for me. Damn.
Please no.
But yeah,
I've seen that movie tomorrow.
Yeah.
Comic book companies can't stick to their guns, which is a problem.
Well, and that's exactly why I stopped buying single issues. That's why I just went with collected editions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm picking up on stuff I haven't read yet. There's a whole back section of the fucking New 52 I haven't touched. But lately, I haven't been reading anything because it's all the developments within DC, which is the side I usually read the most. I'm like, I fucking hate this. I hate the whole. It does, and I hate that the whole Batman thing where it's issue 50, he's gonna get married. No, he didn't. I'm like, we all knew you were gonna do this. Stop acting like it was some kind of masterstroke.
But what about the creme de la crop of great comic book issues? Doomsday Clock. I know that's a point of contention. So.
Our favorite comic book that I predicted would go badly.
It's not even a point of contention. It's can you even muster up the energy to give a shit? Because A, it's taking too long. And honest to God, that series so far was 7 or 8 issues of fucking nothing. Nothing was happening. And the status quo in that book is so fucking confusing because people are wearing the Riddler shows up dressed like he's from fucking 1966. I'm like, what canon is this? Is this supposed to take place in the mainline one? And I guess it takes place a year in advance. But
I just read it while sitting here.
Oh, okay. All the visual aesthetics are fucking different, and I just don't fucking like it. And at some point, fucking Dr. Manhattan just saves the comedian from plummeting to his death. I'm like, okay, no. You don't get to do this.
No, I like it because it means that Alan Moore is squirming somewhere.
Oh, trust me, that part is delightful. And I'm sure, if someone walked up to him and said, hey, what do you think of the new Rorschach? You go, what? I said, what do you think of the new Rorschach?
I'm waiting to see what happens to Alan Moore when the Watchmen show comes out.
When that show comes out, He's going to become that guy with the shiny mask. Because
he's gonna fully turn into a banshee. That's just
God, Erik, that fucking sound. I can just picture him like with his big fucking silver rings on, like wiggling his hands like a fucking warlock.
doing dances and
So I like
Tell my Scorpion God about this.
He summons the snakes and everyone runs.
exactly. He's got a snake in either hand. Yeah.
snake on the Stonehenge. Yeah.
So wait, would his sidekick be Frank Miller?
No.
I think he legitimately hates Frank Miller.
They're mortal enemies. It's like
Actually, it's not even that. It's he and Grant Morrison have beef.
oh, good to do.
Go figure. But I know I saw him talk about
Grant Morrison's a psychic assassin.
yeah, he had some very terrible things to say about 300.
He has terrible things to say about everything that isn't his
Oh
work.
yeah, in general, yes, but yeah, he called what the fuck did he say about 300? Oh, he called it homophobic or something like that. Yeah, I can't remember his exact phrase.
Yeah, I could see that movie being called xenophobic also. One or the other.
Well, Alan Moore has some issues with sexuality when it comes towards women in his books.
Mhm.
Like, rape is a major plot point for almost every one of his stories.
You wrote a whole book about that, didn't he?
Lost Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one that took all like the what is it? Not public access. Got the public domain.
Public domain.
Characters. Yeah,
like Alice in Wonderland and
yeah, it took all the female characters. Yeah, and had a whole bunch of sexual awakenings for them. I've never read it. I just read about it. And
boy, this all sounds so fun. About as fun as turning Harry Potter into a school shooter.
That wasn't him though. That was the book that he was running, correct?
Oh,
but I don't think that was actually him.
No, that was him.
Wait, what's this about Harry Potter?
Well, because after a certain point, he's not writing, or did he write all of Leo Extraordinary Gentlemen, like beginning to end?
Extraordinary Gentlemen, it gets to a point where they like start getting toward more modern, and like they don't explicitly say Harry Potter, but it looks like him, and they definitely imply that it is him.
It's the same way they did around the Sherlock Holmes thing in the first book, where it's like it's fucking Sherlock and Moriarty fighting on the waterfall. They never name Sherlock, but he's there.
And Arlen, yeah, he 100% wrote all of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, that's
Who wrote Crossed again?
Garth Ennis. Garth Ennis wrote the first like 12 issues or whatever
Garth
it
Ennis
was.
is just Garth Ennis, though. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you read a book like Rover Red Charlie that's about 3 dogs after some sort of crazy apocalypse, which is kind of actually like what happened to the people in Crossed, but you don't see anything nearly as horrific. And it's the sweetest story on earth, and it shows how much he loves animals.
Oh my god! Like, John, do you know what Crossed is?
I do not know.
Okay.
So I should point out, if I'm not talking as too much, it's because I try to get in on comics, but it's very hard to get in on certain comics because there's so.
Oh, trust me, we know. Crossed.
Like I just read Dark Knight's Metal, and I don't know what to think. So
Oh no! Wait, what? Yeah.
If he loves animals, does he just really hate dolphins then?
That was more for shock value. Like, I mean, I guess correction would be how much he loves dogs. Would be for Rover Red Charlie.
Let's tell John what Crossed is. So Crossed is a weird, like, different take on a post-apocalyptic zombie outbreak, but instead of a viral thing and a biological thing, it's just this weird madness plague that just turns you into a debaucherous animal, and basically you just start raping and murdering everything around you. Horsecock, yes. It also has a character named Horsecock. Carries around a horsecock and hits people with it.
And yells it when he hits people with it.
Yeah, he yells horsecock.
Great.
It's as a premise, it's interesting, but then it's an outlet for Garth Ennis to be an edgelord 13-year-old.
It's so there's a moment like in the first book. Me and Erik have talked about this a bunch.
Yeah.
His character's like, no, I know how to fend them off. You drop a salt circle and they don't go past it. I saw it happen. Ends the book. You drop a salt circle. You know what the suspension is? There isn't any. The next page is his entire family being. I think his daughter's being drawn quartered by 2 of these things.
Mm-hmm. His wife is being raped.
Wife is getting raped, and he is being raped.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's all on
and
the
it's
2-page spread. I'm like, okay.
yeah,
Garth Ennis.
yeah.
This I watched Happy, and I know it's not like Garth Ennis thing, but
No,
it really feels like I like it a lot. Like I want
Happy is so good.
I want to read
that's
the
your
comic.
yeah, that's your Scottish grandfather, Grant Morrison. He wrote
My
that.
Scottish dad.
Okay.
But like, it really feels like at times like Grant Morrison is doing a Garth Ennis impression.
Actually, and it hasn't been confirmed, but the theory has been that he was writing because the comic is a little bit different. Like things end a little bit differently for what's the main character's name?
Oh yeah.
For Nick,
The way the book ends, a second season wouldn't be possible.
Yeah.
No.
But the theory that actually has some credibility going around is that he wasn't writing a Garth Ennis comic; he was writing a Mark Millar comic.
Ooh, that's interesting too, because I could see that too.
Because he and Mark Millar used to be buddies; like they worked on stuff a lot. Like he and Mark Millar did a flash run shortly after Jeff Johns was done.
What?
And I think last I had seen this was from like probably more than 10 years ago. There's an interview with Grant Morrison, and he like somebody asked like, oh, what about Mark Millar or whatever? He asked something along those lines, and he said, well, the only thing I think about is him getting hit by a car. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is admirable sass.
Yeah, like I think Grant Morrison was kind of doing the like, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a comic that's basically a spec script, and it ends up being good. And hey, look, it got picked up, and it's actually a successful show. So he basically out Mark Millar.
Right. Yeah.
Just point out, going back to Happy, Patton Oswalt is a joy on that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is in most things. His comedy special where he really opens up about his wife is actually
God,
fantastic.
yeah.
Did you know?
Yeah.
Did you know his wife wrote a book about like, the Golden State Killer?
Yeah, I have the
I think
audio.
because of
book. I
the
just
book or
haven't
something,
listened
they
to it.
caught
The
him.
thing is, a lot of tinfoil hat wearers were like, she was killed because she was digging into a case she had no business doing. I'm like,
no.
I don't think so.
No,
No,
it's a
she-
medical thing. So.
Sometimes
she'd been writing.
pretty sad.
She'd been writing that book for a while, and like actually, some of the reason he got caught was because of the research she had done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I guess what happened to her is that she OD'd.
I think it was,
inadvertently.
yeah.
Yeah.
The same way like Heath Ledger was like, I can take these 2 pills at once.
Right.
But she can't. Patton Oswalt's bit, I can't remember which special it's from, where he elaborates on what B word fat is. I bought the bracelet down at the it's kind of like proto Booger Von Dingus, like it's how that voice works.
Yeah.
Fill your cheeks with air as if they're fucking plump as fuck.
Yeah.
I also, speaking of Screen, I think there was another endgame theory on there the other day. I was like, wow, you guys,
There is.
these are just falling out of your fucking asses.
Oh,
I bet there are
what was
5
this
of them
one?
now.
I don't remember what this one was, but I know a while back they theorized that, and this is one of the most preposterous things I've heard regarding Endgame. They're like, this movie 110% has to skip over the Steve and Tony reunion. I'm like, well, you're an idiot. And your assessment of this movie is bad.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure like that's the tipping point of the movie is like Scott traveling back in time and then them having their makeup session. Like, yeah, and then things happen differently than how we saw them happen in the last movie.
I do think Tony is losing that arm though.
Yeah, he's totally losing that arm.
Oh,
100%.
that was also one of the Screwman's hot takes. Someone's gonna lose an arm. I'm like, you guys are so late to this fucking party. Did you know Iron Man hurt his arm in every movie he's been in? Yes.
I'm waiting for them to come out and say Goose the Cat's gonna defeat Thanos.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
I mean,
Mhm.
I kind of would be too, because that would be such a fucking awesome way to beat someone who reveres himself as some kind of like, I wouldn't say a god, but he's certainly playing one.
I like seeing Captain. I kind of want to talk about Captain Marvel now, but I'm not going to because I feel like you guys do. But I
Yeah.
definitely want to see her beat on Thanos. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my Oh, go ahead, Eric.
Oh, like I said a while ago when we were first talking about Captain Marvel before it was even close to coming out, was all I want to see is her throw the Hulk at Thanos.
Yes.
That's all I want to see. That's all I want to see.
Yeah. So I know my friend George, I've mentioned the show before. He's the one I play Dark Souls with all the time. He finally sat down last night and in a row watched Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Infinity War.
Oh.
And
That's a good
I was like,
run.
Message me when you finish Infinity War, and let me pull up the message. I will see what time I got this at. I couldn't believe he took the time to actually message me after it was over. It was that late. It was.
Had he not seen any other Marvel stuff before, or just he was behind?
He had been blitzkrieging through the MCU. So he messaged me at 12:48 a.m., which was 3:48 a.m. East Coast time. And he writes, dude. I was like, okay, you can share your feelings. We've all been there.
So he watched Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, and what?
Ant-Man and Wasp, and then Infinity War.
That makes sense. That
was a roller coaster of emotions he went on.
I think I missed it. What did he say, Connor?
It was Black Panther. I mean, sorry, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther. I'm sorry, he didn't watch Ant-Man and the Wasp yet because that technically
takes place.
No,
after,
what was his reaction to Infinity War? I mean, they messaged you.
Yeah. Oh, he just writes "dude" with a bunch of like ellipses because I knew he was just, like fucking. I could feel his agony from across the country. I'm like, yep.
Yeah, I think the first thing I put up anywhere on social media after I saw Infinity War was everything tastes like ash. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
That movie severely depressed me for like a week.
Yeah.
It affects you in such a way. Like
my poor Bucky.
Yeah.
That definitely hurt a lot.
Dude, how much it sucked that Steve Rogers had to watch his best friend die twice.
Yeah, that movie certainly broke me for the rest of the day. I think
Steve's little like, oh god moment. When he just sat down and I was like, oh, that's when everything just like hit me in the.
Someone pointed out to me that little moment there is actually mirroring the end of Avengers 1, where Tony wakes up and says, "Did we win?" And I guess in the same position, and like the remaining Avengers are standing in a similar way.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's really cool.
Shit, I lost what I was gonna say. There it goes. Oh, I always go back to that one fucking tweet I saw where it was somebody like, I was in a movie theater, and as soon as it said Thanos will return, a voice from the back of the theater said, well, maybe he shouldn't. I just love that kind of passive, like, well, you know what? I don't think I want him around here anymore.
Yeah.
my feelings.
You're gonna hurt my feelings.
Yeah. The big purple son of a bitch.
You know what? I don't want Grimace to come back now.
Yeah.
That joke's been done to death. Oh my god, Infinity War's fucking. I'm not Infinity War. Endgame is tuning in later now.
I was just thinking that on my way home, like they're not spacing these out at all. Like they're just like, here's Captain Marvel, here's Endgame.
They've doubled down, certainly. Like,
what's gonna happen? They fail? Ha 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 ha.
No, at this point, no, it's not happening.
No.
I did see. I had to block this from one of my fucking because you watch one right wing video that you don't know is a right wing video,
right?
And then YouTube is like, here, just take all of this shit. These guys hate women. These guys hate black people.
You're a Nazi, right? Right?
And it was some dude called The Quartering, and he put a video up. I just saw the fucking title, and I was like, I guarantee you I can debunk this in 2 seconds. And he writes, the reviews are in. Captain Marvel is boring, lazy, uninspiring, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. All right.
No.
And I just Googled the general critic consensus. I'm like, I, too, can cherry-pick reviews that only fit my narrative.
Exactly. All right. Go ahead, Hunter. You saw the movie.
There's going to be a scene. There's a scene in Captain Marvel that they're going to hate.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
There's one scene in particular where I was surprised nobody in my theater groaned, but I could feel a couple people wanting to groan, and I was very happy that they didn't feel comfortable doing so.
Yeah,
see, that's something I've noticed recently. That's kind of gross that there's people out there, like, I don't know them that well, but I mean, I've seen people in Pixels and Reels. I've seen some people in the Omnibus Collector groups, because that's definitely a mixed bag. But there are people who seem to be coming out of the woodworks who are trying to defend like the fact that people are like, well, no, it's not that they're angry about what Brie Larson said. It's just that the movie looks bad in the trailers. Like, no, fuck you, all of you,
Don't
all
hide
of
your
you people.
misogyny behind film analysis.
Like all of you people are still the people who are like this are still angry about the fact that she brought up, hey, maybe there should be some more diversity in film criticism, and it's infuriating to me that people are trying to. Well, yeah, it's a given, but I don't understand how these people don't see that. Like that they're pissed about that, not about.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was she wanted more women interviewing her. She wanted more women asking her questions about.
And like, well, no, but no, this was before that. This was back. This was back during when A Wrinkle in Time was getting savaged, which, mind you, it might not be a good movie, but she was bringing up the fact that like it's not a movie that's meant for old white people.
No, it's
not
not
a movie that could like maybe there's a black woman who would have a better voice about the movie, and that's where a lot of this shit started. Because I've seen a lot of people say
tweets about that, right?
Mm-hmm. And well, no, this was a press jump of some sort.
What are you talking about, Erik? There's no evidence of that. Black Panther didn't happen.
The movie could be bad, but like I think it's kind of shitty to just disavow her for saying that because she's kind of like she has a point. Like
no, she's correct. Like, and a lot of these people are taking it as, well, if you give that to somebody else, that means there's enough room for somebody else. Like, no, that's not the way it works. Like,
oh, that's the same line of thinking where people think that the MCU is killing cinema. They're like, every time a Marvel movie comes out, it pushes another movie that could have been there out of the way. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
No. Like, there's sharing with other people doesn't mean there's less for you. Like, it just
also like
I tell Steven Spielberg that then.
I love how unbelievably arrogant that line of thinking is because it's like, I'm bothered by this thing, which means that none of you can have it.
Yeah, that's stupid. It's
what?
Like let everyone is like this. It's like just because you don't like it doesn't mean you gotta ruin it for everyone else.
It's like today at the theater, I noticed that like Lego Movie 2 is out, and like Lego Movie when it came out was huge.
Yeah,
like no one's talking about Lego Movie 2, but like to me, it's like. Okay, does that just mean that Lego Movie 2 is just not as good as the first one, or does no one care?
I think no one cared because I heard it bombed.
I've seen Lego 2. It's a mixture of both. I think it's A, no one caring, and B, it definitely. I don't think it's as good as the first one. I think the first one had that surprise factor to it, whereas this one, I personally kind of went in looking at it like, oh, I have an expectation now. Yeah. So
it's just to me, it's like I see these movies that come out at the same time as these Marvel movies. Like I want to see some of them. Like it's not like. It's not like I'm just there just because I want to see a Marvel movie, which I do. But like, it just feels to me like if you want to compete with these movies, you just make better movies. Like,
yeah, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
There it is. It's my only dig, and I'm not gonna fucking poke the bear too much. But like, honestly, in regarding to them, actually, they look like they're about to have a decent comeback.
Yeah,
I mean,
that looks fun.
I think they've already kind of had it. I mean, I loved Aquaman. It's one of the best comic book movies of last year.
I meant like a full swing of stuff, like an
actual universe.
Well, I don't know if it's been confirmed or not, but there were some rumors and stories flying around that higher ups at Warner Brothers / DC are like, yeah, let's just step back from this whole connected universe thing and just kind of try and.
Done in the first place
from day one. Let's just do good singular movies, and if the hype about Shazam is actually true, then maybe they actually finally just started to realize how to do it, because Shazam has had some pretty good buzz behind it so far from early screenings.
I honestly don't even think there needs to be a Justice League 2. Like,
not anytime soon.
No,
there's not going to be. Yeah,
interact with each other.
Fix this fucking universe in the most conservative way possible, and don't over fucking do it, because you can't ignore it now. The movies they exist. There's fucking 3 movies in this, like more than that. There's like the 3 main movies that have established the universe in Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Justice League. Like Wonder Woman and Aquaman were there. You can't ignore it anymore. So I think they're gonna have to tiptoe around how they fix this.
I hate the fact that they've irrevocably fucked up Batman and Superman for a while. Like,
That's still the part of it that kind of amazes me because
Yeah.
it's like you didn't have a second chance at this. You had one shot to get Batman and Superman on screen together for the first time ever, and everyone dropped the ball.
Yeah, I remember I saw that movie 3 times. Saw it once for free at a pre-screening the day it came out, and I saw the ultimate cut. Each time I was like, how?
But we've talked to death about that movie. Shazam.
Yeah, I know you guys probably have,
and
so I'm not gonna go any further. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to harp on that
fair.
movie. I just Henry Cavill is so good. Like everything I've seen him in outside of those movies is good. How did they fuck him up so bad?
Even then, I would say he's good in them. I would say
He is, but it's what they're giving him to deliver is what sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. I thought
that is incredible.
Yeah.
I thought him in Justice League for the brief turn it was in, like, yeah, okay, stupid CGI mustache aside, I thought what we got from him was the best I have seen of Superman, him as Superman to date. I liked him in the others, but this was the best I had seen him.
One of the best sequences for that movie is the fucking cornfield, which they used to advertise the film for a bit. And I was like, this is the tone I wanted to see. And the movie has no idea what it wants to be.
But I feel like they poisoned the well for him because I mean he's going to do The Witcher on Netflix.
Oh man, his fucking wig and makeup look bad.
Yeah, well, it's not. I imagine it's not final yet.
That's gonna be something to witness.
But still, like I feel like he's trying to get as far away from that stuff as possible. Like even though he'll be on Twitter like, oh no, the rumors about me leaving Superman are not true. But dude, are you sure about that? Like you don't really seem to be talking it up much, or talking about like, oh, I can't wait to get back into the role. Like we just hear about these other things you're doing that you're really good in,
like Mission Impossible Fallout. He's so
his arms like shotguns.
Mm-hmm.
I still love that fucking gif that makes it look like he's growing a mustache. Fucking fan. Because if anybody on Earth could do that, I firmly believe it would be fucking Henry Cavill, who's like sitting there, he's like, and a mustache just fucking sprouts from his lip all at once.
like the damn SpongeBob movie. That moment when that happened.
He does that.
Yeah. That's a reference I didn't think I'd ever see on this show in regards to anything else.
I mean, that's the first thought I think of is the moment Alec Baldwin's character just sprouts a mustache for no reason.
Well,
I
I
think
could
that's-
tell you about some stories I read about Pennywise and Patrick the Starfish and the things they got up to.
Get out of here, Jesse. We didn't invite you.
I will never be shut up.
I'm gonna.
Don't make fun of my friend. He is
Oh no!
professional. Unlike
Consummate.
Davenport.
Can you imagine a crossover TV show of Confidential? It's called Confidential Wars. It's fucking Jesse Ventura and Alex Jones co-hosting some conspiracy show.
That's the thing, though. I think Jesse Ventura wouldn't put up with his shit for
TV
5
Jesse
show
Ventura
or
would fucking punch Alex Jones in the fucking throat.
TV
I
show
love
or
it.
wacky sitcom where they're roommates.
Ooh,
Yes.
ooh.
Oh, I need that. I need that real bad.
You need to clean the goddamn dishes, Alex. I'm sick and tired of coming home from work and I'm on all of these conspiracy theories, and there's nothing but ketchup-stained plates in the dishwasher.
Alex is sitting there at the fucking table going, America, 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 America. Burp.
He's just eating Diddy Moore beef stew out of a can all the time.
Does anyone else notice that Alex Jones looks kind of like a bullfrog?
I know. He's very like rectangular.
He's just like, Alex, don't bother me. I need
That
to
looks like a real
practice too.
Alex,
I've made
mean-
this reference a couple times, but he looks like that picture of the man who can survive a car crash.
Oh my god! Just that fucking amorphous blob.
Yes, with like weird ribs and
Oh
like.
my god.
Oh my god.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, it's this. What was it? Like a science, like a group of biologists or whatever.
Yeah,
figured
like,
out.
they conceptualized a human body that could survive a car crash through like physical adaptation, and it's something that came out of a fucking David Cronenberg movie. I'm like, well, I'm glad I'm not that fucking thing. Like, I'm like, you somehow managed to like out Merrick Joseph Merrick. That thing's a fucking horror. Like,
Yeah. That's the next step in evolution, guys. That's the next step.
What's funny about Jones is like, I guess he used to be a pretty legitimate like reporter, and at some point was going after George Bush. And was one of the first people, I guess, to bring up like Bohemian Grove publicly. But the fact is, Bohemian Grove is much less sinister than people think it is.
Well, he was always a conspiracy person, but like he was even-handed in it, I guess. Like he wasn't clearly shilling for one side or the other. Like he hated Hillary Clinton as much as he hated George Bush.
He was
way back then.
Alex Jones and Jesse Ventura. You know, he was on Jesse Ventura's TV show, right?
I'm sure he was.
He fucking was.
Conspiracy theory. Yeah, he was. I'm looking right now. He's a recurring guest from like.
He was also Bill Hicks. So let's not.
Don't.
They have the same representation company. Okay, it's a fact.
Yep.
We
that
know
means, that means everything. Yep.
They look a little bit similar. All right.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
We're 2 for 2 here.
I just remember, I think real quick before we can probably start approaching the finish line, I found a bit of audio from, I think, Richard Nixon talking about Bohemian Grove, and it shed hilarious light on what goes down there. Because apparently Bohemian Grove is less human sacrifice and more like everybody's fucking.
Right.
And it's not even that. It's just a bunch of rich old politicians and billionaires who are just blowing steam off.
Yeah, and like I guess Richard Nixon did an interview where he's like, "That Bohemian Grove is the faggiest place I've ever seen in my life. There's so many male prostitutes running around."
Yeah, I'm looking
at a picture of this place where Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon are like kind of almost next to each other.
Isn't there a great story about like Jeb Bush?
Yeah, I was getting to that one.
Yeah,
too.
he was trying to order a milkshake like after the kitchen had closed, and he was just like, "Oh,
hey, can I order a milkshake?"
Yeah, I'd read a story about how somebody who had worked there was like going down a path one day and realized all of a sudden their leg was wet, and I think it was Jimmy Carter was pissing on their leg.
Oh my god!
Yeah, maybe it wasn't Jimmy Carter. Maybe it was one of the like kind of presidents. So yeah, the place
remember when
is just
Bush waved to Stevie Wonder.
Oh god! You know, on that depressing note, I think we can probably start to wrap up. Before we spin off into several other tangents. So I've been Connor McGraw. We just recorded Bleeders for Movie Dumpster. That is a fucking movie. It's got Rutger Hauer, who has nothing to do throughout the entire film. And at some point, he seemingly channels future Harrison Ford. Someone walks into... He's a doctor, by the way, in this movie. Yes, Rutger Hauer. Someone walks into his practice and they go, "Are you the doctor?" And he just goes, "I used to be." I'm like, all right, calm down, Han Solo. It's weird and it features weird fucking practical effects and lots of dumb people. It's a weird Lovecraft adaptation in that it's barely one. It's one of 3 adaptations of the same story. I think one had Jeffrey Combs, because go figure. And then we were watching Luck of the Irish tomorrow, as I previously said. I'm not looking forward to it. It looks fucking bad so far. And Punisher is out. We had a fucking great time with Punisher, especially with Sleepy Frank. So go check that stuff out. And actually, right now, I believe, well, not right now, it's fucking 11 p.m. over there, but Sean and Joe were at Monster Mania today back east. So hopefully their convention appearance went pretty well. All right, that's all my plugs.
Alrighty then. Lost Haro podcast comes out every single week. We had to take one off because we're both busy and schedules and things like that. But you can go listen to older episodes featuring other people on this show, actually. Erik even did like 2 episodes or just one?
I did 2 technically because I was on the crossover episode where we were talking about Marvel stuff. But yeah, I've only done 1 official episode.
Yeah, we need to get back at some point.
Pull me from my crypt.
Yes, but Hunter's been on. Connor's been on, obviously, and maybe John should be on at some point. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, so go listen to the Godzilla episode, the top 5 scores episode, which is a personal favorite of mine, with me, Connor, and Sayor. So
Well,
yeah,
very enjoyable.
yes, yeah, and we got to listen to music, so that was fun. Yeah. Hunter.
Who next?
Don't follow me on social media ever. Ever. No, this is okay. People don't understand, all right? Don't do it.
However, if somebody wanted to
Bad life
follow,
decision.
if somebody wanted to follow the Monster Mash Facebook page,
Yeah.
for
Go ahead and do that. Go
yeah.
follow the Monster Mash Podcast Facebook page and check that out. You can follow my cat's Instagram at good_biscuit_boy. He doesn't mind. He likes the attention. Other than that, go listen to Lost Era Games. We got some cool stuff going on there. Other than that, nope, nothing.
Yeah.
I'm Erik Fedorchak. You can follow me at Erik_Fedor on the gram.
Oh no,
that's what
Punisher's
kids
here.
call it. What's that?
I said, oh no, Punisher's here.
Yeah, because I'm on the gram. That's what all the cool
Yeah.
kids are calling it. Anyways, you can do that. There's pictures of dogs and cats and food and comics and stuff along those lines. Outside of that, I'm around the Phantom Zone. I can try and answer questions. I can try and advise you on comics. I one time was reading about how Pennywise cut off the nether regions of Patrick the Starfish.
This is where me and Jesse Ventura.
John hasn't even been to say goodbye yet, and you guys have
Please
jumped
stop
on
making Abraxas 2.
I've never addressed it before, but Jesse Ventura sounds suspiciously like a pirate.
It's the Midwestern accent.
A Michigan pirate.
You don't understand the Midwestern accent.
All
Now
right.
I'm mad I'm never going to get Pirates of the Caribbean with Jesse Ventura in it.
Who would his father be?
Stars she blows. Watch out for the edge of the earth.
Hulk Hogan.
Goddamn.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
No, let John has plugs too.
Oh,
He's
I'm
on
I'm
the
just
show.
going to plug my social medias. I'm on Twitter, JamScott193. I'm also on Letterboxd, so follow me there.
Damn.
That's a
Yeah.
good place to go.
Yeah, no one ever plugs Letterboxd ever anymore. I feel like on any podcast I listen to, so why not?
Yeah, do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Become an iconoclast, much like the mind, the body, the total package. Jesse.
Oh god!
G.I.
All right,
Joe
end this
doesn't
fucker
review
because freaking Jesse Ventura is going to overtake this podcast.
I
Alex
will.
Jones screams into the sky for people to hear.
And,
all around.
And Jesse Ventura awakens from his sun tomb and answers your questions.
Yeah, to go rob English fucking trader ships. Goodbye, everybody.
Ah.
Fuck Supergirl.
Don't forget to feed the children.